Greetings and welcome back to Wolf Cage Los Angeles. Today we're diving into something that's flying under the radar for far too many folks. The global push for digital IDs. You know, the kind that starts with just a little verification and ends up tracking your every move. Let's kick it off with the UK, where Prime Minister Keir Starmer just dropped a bombshell last week. On September 26, he announced a nationwide digital ID scheme dubbed the Brick Card in some circles. That'll be mandatory for anyone wanting to prove their right to work in the country. Now, by the end of this parliament, around 2029, right around the time when they have Agenda 2030, you will not be able to clock in without it. Now, of course, the official story is it's all about cracking down on illegal migration and streamlining services like benefits or travel documents. But here's the reality. You already have 1.6 million Brits that have already signed a petition slamming it as a massive privacy overreach. They're saying it's a hacker's dream. And quite frankly, people don't want to be tracked by other people. And get this, it's not like this is something they're just starting from scratch. No, the UK is literally drawing from the EU blueprints like the EIDAS 2.0, which mandates a digital wallet for every citizen across the block to handle everything from banking to voting. Does that sound familiar? This is straight out of the COVID playbook. Do you remember those vaccine passports? Contrary to what the mainstream media was trying to get you to believe, those vaccine passports, they were not about health checks. They were a beta test for digital verification systems. Governments worldwide rolled them out to get us hooked on scanning apps for access to bars, for access to flights, for access to even going to the gym. Now they're ready to go to the next step. Now it's evolving into full spectrum digital identities. And once you're in that system, you will not get out. Once you give up your freedom, they're not going to give it back. Remember, these are just human beings like you. They want to tell you what to do, and they want you to pay them to do so. Public servants that you pay are taking your money to take your freedoms away. Do you get that? And many people are happy to pay them to do so. Wow. So next up, we have central bank digital currencies. Some people may refer to them as CBDCs. Now, countries like the UK are piloting a digital pound that could tie right into these IDs, letting authorities program your money. Think spending limits on unapproved purchases. Think automatic tax grabs. Of course, you have a whole bunch of privacy advocates that are screaming one data breach and your whole life is exposed. But that's just one problem. That means these people are these human beings are tracking your whole life. Controlling your whole life, your money, your ability to go different places, where you can live, when you can live there, how you can live, what you can do, what you can say. This is crazy. We've got India's Aadhaar system, which serves over 1 billion people. They say it's efficient, but it's faced lawsuits over biometric leaks. And even more importantly, the exclusion of the poor. Are you poor? Or do you know someone who's poor? Because if you are, well. Then we have Estonia's eID, a success story, they say, for e-governance. But even they admit cyber risks keep evolving. So, if the UK is going full throttle, what's brewing here in the United States of America? But before we get there, let's talk Canada first. Fresh off his UK visit, Prime Minister Mark Carney was cornered by reporters on September 27 and flat out said, "We don't have any current plans for a mandatory digital ID like Starmer's." Classic politician pivot. Denied today, people will forget about it. Then quietly behind the scenes, deploy tomorrow. Don't buy it. The truth is, back in July of 2025, the Liberal government quietly greenlit a massive overhaul through Employment and Social Development Canada. They're hiring external contractors, think tech giants like those behind Estonia's model, to swap out 60 outdated federal systems for a unified digital ID framework. They say it's voluntary for now. Sure. But it's the infrastructure build out that matters. And by late August, Canada inked on the same dotted line for the same international standards as the EU and the UK. ISO compliant wallets that could one day link your SIN, that could link your health records and your bank apps. Now, of course, they want to phrase it up real cute for you. The Digital ID and Authentication Council of Canada calls it a secure gateway to services. That sounds wonderful, right? Well, many others are calling it a Trojan horse for surveillance, especially with whispers of tying it to a Canadian CBDC pilot that has been testing since, 2023. Fun fact is, during COVID, Canada's Arrive Can app already mandated digital uploads for travelers. They did it with glitches and all. Now let's talk about the United States. They don't call it digital ID here. Nah, that sounds too sinister, too on the nose. Now it's rebranded. It's rebranded as the Real ID. Yes, the Real ID, that post 9/11 law dressed up as enhanced security. The enforcement deadline hit May 7, 2025. No extensions this time, despite years of delays. Thanks to a quote-unquote Trump-era push in 2025, every state scrambled to comply, rolling out compliant driver's licenses with chips, biometrics, and scannable barcodes. Miss it? No boarding domestic flights. No entering federal buildings. Passports work as a workaround. But come on, that's not convenience. That's coercion. And it's not stopping at licenses. No, of course not. New federal tweaks under the works allow standalone digital ID cards for all citizens, echoing the UK's BRIC card, but with that American flair. Voluntary adoption, mandatory in practice for jobs, for travel, even voting in some states. By summer of 2025, over 40 states have passed enabling laws, often bundling in facial recognition pilots. Privacy red flags? Absolutely. Now, even the ACLU has been sounding alarm, saying Real ID databases could merge with CBDC trials, like the Fed's exploratory digital dollar, creating a panopticon where if you go for a coffee run, the funds you use could possibly track suspicious patterns of spending. Folks, none of this is a coincidence. All of this is planned, and it's been planned for decades. It's a highly coordinated creep. Test with health passes, normalize with work IDs, lock in with programmable cash. You have to understand, if this gets completed, they will own the keys to all of your freedoms now. This is not just some kind of a random thing that they thought of last year or a couple of years ago. No. But the only thing that can stop them is that you become aware, pass along the information, because knowledge is power. Ignorance in this situation is not bliss. Stay vigilant. Dig deep. Look beyond mainstream media. They're in on it. They will not tell you anything. They're just hoping they can stay rich and stay above what we will have to go through. Keep the conversation going. What do you think, though? Do you really think this is progress or a power grab? Drop your takes in the comments below. I'm Wolf Cage. This is Wolf Cage Los Angeles. Peace.